I'm Simon Dewsbury, PGA staff professional here at Belmont Country Club. We're continuing the tour and look around the golf course, and right now we're going to look at hole number 7. It's my personal favourite because the first time I ever played here I made a really good birdie up there. It's a long par 4, we're going to be going uphill into the green, we've got a split fairway that we have to contend with. We're going to be looking at whether we want to hit draw or fade with the tee shots and going into the green. So it's a really good hole to take a look at. Let's go. Alright, hole number 7, my personal favourite here, one of the hardest holes on the golf course though. First time I played here, I made birdie, haven't done it ever since, but I fell in love with the hole then, and I still think it's one of the best challenges out here. As you can see from the layout, it's a big dog leg around to the left. We've got a penalty area in between us and the split fairway before we get to an elevated green. So 464 off the back tees. It's going to play longer than that because we're going into an elevated green, but we really want to make sure that we are shaping the shot off the tee to follow the contour of the fairway around to the left to make sure that our second shot, which is going to be a bit of a tricky one anyway because the fairway is going to be sloping downwards as we're hitting into an elevated green, I want to be playing as short a shot from here into the green as I can. If I hit a bailout shot or if I hit a fade and I aim it up the right hand side, that's going to give me a flatter lie but a really long second shot. So we really do want to try and produce that draw for a right-handed golfer, the right to left shot, get me down into the left half of the green, into the fairway to give me an easier shot going into the green. The 7th tee, my favourite hole. It is that strong dog leg to the left. Looking from here straight down the first edge of the fairway. Beyond the fence itself there are 2 trees there. There used to be a third which got knocked down probably about 18 months ago now. Back then I would have said we want to go at the middle tree of the 3, so now as we look at it, it's just the right hand tree. I want to play it off there and draw it around with the shape of the fairway. So I'm going to set up again on the left hand side of the tee box, help me to feel that I can actually open up down the right hand side and then work it around to the left. Play it off that tree and around with the shape of the fairway. There we go. As we move up here to the blue tees, not really any difference visually, just a 30-yard shorter tee shot, so a little bit easier to get it into the fairway. The visual again is probably close towards that right hand tree that's just on the far side of the fence line. Maybe if I wanted to get a little bit more aggressive I'd go towards the left hand tree that's just over the fence, but I want to start it there and then work it around to the left. I don't really want to get too aggressive in starting left hand side because of this penalty area that runs down the left edge. I want to try and steer my way around that as opposed to trying to carry it over and come back into it. And then obviously moving forward now to the white tees. Right, as we move forwards here from the blues to the whites, you can see there's a big difference here this time. It's about 50 yards that we've got to cover. So it does mean that obviously less distance for us to carry to get into the fairway. And as we move forwards now, it does begin to open up the fairway a little bit more around to the left hand side. So it does give us a little bit more options in terms of our tee shot. We can still play the draw. I wouldn't need to go towards the fence line and the trees behind that now. I'd be looking at the trees that are just on this side of the fence. If we look at the left edge of the fence line, and then you've got the big copse of trees, a little gap with a fence, and then two more trees on the right hand side there. I would probably be looking at the little fence gap. The gap in the fence there is where I would want to start the ball, and again work the ball around with the draw. If that's not your favored shot and you do tend to hit the ball left to right, we'd probably be starting it off then more on the left edge of that fence line, so just cutting the very corner of the penalty area down here on the left and working the ball back into the fairway that way. The fairway does slope right to left as well, so when the ball lands there, it's going to land and kind of die into the bank a little bit, so wouldn't expect to get a huge amount of run out with a left to right shot. But if that's not your natural shot, you do hit it with a left to right shot, I would probably be looking at the left edge of the fence line that's on the left hand side of that little copse of trees, and then work the ball back, so kind of just going over the edge of this penalty area and working the ball into the fairway that way. But as I said, that fairway sloping right to left, so if the ball's going to land coming in left to right, it's not going to release as much because it's going to be landing into an upslope of a fairway. And then the other option, not something that I would do if it was just an individual event, but if you're playing in a scramble format, we can go over this little notch in the trees here. It does mean that you've got to get the golf ball up really quickly, and we really do have to make sure that once we get it over there, we are moving the ball around to the left, so a draw shot over that. But that's going to get us into the fairway that's short of the green and over the split fairway and over the penalty area that cuts across this fairway. So that in a scramble format, yes, but for everything else, I would definitely be aiming down to the main part of the fairway here. Now, depending on the angle that you actually hit the golf ball down, the fairway obviously just continues to loop around a little bit. So if we went towards the right-hand tree that's just this side of the fence line, we're going to run out of fairway at around about 215, 220 yards. If we do get that ball shaping right to left though, and we go down towards the fence line on the left hand side, we've got to run out there that's about 240, 245. So again, if we're playing from the white tees, the chances are we don't hit our driver particularly far. We can probably get away with that, but if you do tend to be a little bit above average in your distances for what you're playing from handicap wise, 3-wood, maybe even a long iron, so that we can actually get the ball into the area that we want to then play our next shot into the green. Moving up now onto the green tees, although all these tee boxes are in a straight line coming up towards the fairway, with the fairway shaping around to the left, the viewpoint from here does change quite drastically, even from the white tees. We can get much more aggressive in the line going around to the left hand side. If I was getting, again, that draw shot, I'd be going at the very left edge of the fence line and working it around towards that one tree that kind of sticks itself up, which is covering the maintenance sheds. And if I was going to play it as a fade, I would be coming off the right edge of the weeping willow tree that's just overhanging the edge of the cart path and work the ball back then into the fairway from there. Again, if I'm playing from here, the chances are I don't really have the distance with my tee shot to then take that shot on going over. So we are going to just make sure that we play into the fairway. We've got about between 190 and probably 220 yards of run out before we actually get into the rough on the far side. So we've got quite a big leeway in terms of our distances. Don't be scared then of attacking that corner. Let's get the ball down there and give ourselves an easier and shorter shot into the green. Okay, a question that was raised to me yesterday was, I want to play this hole as a par 4. Now, it was one of our lady members, and this is stroke index 1 off the ladies card, so the hardest hole on the golf course. You only need to play this as a par 4 if you are a scratch golfer. You have your handicap allowance, so take advantage of that. If you want to play the short second shot, and you do have to go over these trees, we've got to get the ball up quickly. We're looking at 150 to carry everything to get into the second half of the fairway. And that's just to get there. So we want to be a little bit further up as well, because that's going to give us a little bit more of a flatter second shot going into the green. We're realistically looking at a 180 to 200 yard tee shot if we are going to go over these trees. The safe option, and again, using your handicap allowance, don't think I've got to get there in 2. Play it down into this first part of the fairway, play the second shot over the penalty area, then play your third shot into the green, take your 2 putts, a 5, net 4, and walk to the next hole with your net par in the bag. Again, if we're going down here into the fairway, this option with the angles, we can get a little more aggressive as well. We're going to come a little bit left of that fence line, almost towards that one big tree that's overshadowing and blocking out the view from the maintenance sheds, and play it in there. The ball is likely to kick left as well off that slope and take you down into the flat part of the fairway. But if you do play the ball left to right with a fade, bring it over the edge of the rough, where the fairway just kind of cuts around and loops around off the corner of that cart path as it begins to go around towards the bridge that takes you over the penalty area, and let the ball come into the fairway that way. You've got 160 to 180 in terms of carry before we run out of fairway. So again, a lot of fairway to play with our tee shot, but get down as far as you can into the flatter part of the fairway to make your second shot as simple as possible to get over the penalty area. Okay, here we are, position A. We hit the draw off the tee, we're in the right spot, we're closer to the front part of the first fairway. Everything is laid out in front of us. As I said, it's an uphill shot, so it's always going to play a little bit longer than it's going to laser. We've been told by the Bushnells it's 188 to the flag. It's probably going to play a little bit more than that, about 194, 195. That green is a lot bigger than it looks to your eye, and probably showing up on camera as well. We've got a little bit of a false front, but it's a lot deeper and definitely a lot wider than that. That right hand bunker is protecting a lot of the green. It's also very deep, so I don't really want to be aggressive and go over that bunker towards a flag that's tucked in the right hand side. Where this flag is today is ideal for what we're trying to talk about, because it's into the heart of the green. We're going to err on the side of caution and aim a little bit left of the flag. We've still got plenty of green there, but if we're going to miss, we're going to miss left hand side. That bunker on the left is shallow. It will be an easy bunker shot to get out of, give me a chance to get up and down. But again, from here, I got a 6-iron in my hands. I'm not realistically looking to miss the green here. I'm looking to get it onto the green, and if I can, inside about 25 feet. Feel my shot out, because I want to feel what's underneath my feet. The ball's feeling just a touch above my feet here, so that again is going to help to promote the draw. I want to play a little bit left of the flag and try and work it left to right. So I'm going to try and feel as though I'm just holding the shot off a little bit. There we go. So didn't quite catch it, a little bit out of the toe, but into the mouth of the green. It's on the green. It's a little shorter than where I would really like it, but I'm putting, and now probably outside of birdie range. So my focus now is going to be make sure I 2-putt and walk to the next hole with the par. Position B was the bailout shot. We didn't quite hit it where we wanted to. We came out of it. We're in the right half of the fairway. It's 213 now to get to the flag instead of 188. So a lot longer. I'm not going to play the shot because I've still only got my 6-iron in my hands, but the viewpoint has changed significantly as well from where I was. I now want to play more towards that bunker and play a more aggressive fade with the slope of the fairway going into the green and play with the green, because it's going to kick around to the right hand side a little bit when it lands as well. But if I'm going to have any doubt or any bailout shot, I'm gonna leave it short. I don't want to go aggressive at the flag and knock it into that right hand trap. And we could go into that left hand bunker, but if I'm this little bit further away, I would want to leave it in the throat of the green and have an easy little chip shot going up to the flag. So that's going to be where I would look at my bailout shot. Give myself a chance to get up and down, but again, minimize any damage and walk away with nothing worse than a bogey. Don't get too aggressive and put yourself in a position where you're going to make double or triple. Okay, so if we end up on this little tricky spot right in the middle of the fairway, which is more likely to happen when the ground is wet, so throughout the winter, spring, and in the late fall or autumn back in the UK, we've got to look at the slope itself. Now that's a 9-degree downslope, so that's taking off 9 degrees of loft on our golf clubs when we play this shot. I'm still 200 yards away from the flag, and most people get wrapped up in that number and think, well, if I'm 200 yards, it's a hybrid, or it's my fairway wood to get me there. But there's such little loft on those that when you get set up, that hybrid or fairway loft is firing the golf ball downhill. It's not getting the golf ball up into the air. It's not going to get it over this penalty area that's in front of us. We've got to play something that's got enough loft that when we work our body into the slope, we've still got the loft angle to get the ball traveling upwards above the horizon. So 6-iron is going to lose 9 degrees of loft there. It may even need to go up to something like a 7-iron, so that now when I get set and I get my body leaning with the slope, I've still got that positive angle above the horizon with my loft. Is a 7-iron going to go 200 yards? No. So I've got to pick out where do I want the golf ball to land. Now we've got a big wide open fairway there, and at about 160 yards I've got a flat spot which is going to give me an easier pitch shot going into the green. So get myself into a position where my next shot is going to be as easy as possible. Now I know I'm not going to reach that left hand bunker. I can aim that way more. That's towards the flat spot in the fairway. Ball is going to be above my feet and I'm on a downslope, so I'm going to put the ball a little bit back in my stance. As I lean forwards, my hands are going to go with my body going forwards as well, so that's taking the loft off. It's going to be harder to rotate into my trail side. My weight is going to stay more on the lead side, so as I come down, I really want to feel like I'm shifting and going down the slope and chasing after the ball when I hit it. And this is a positional shot. We're just trying to get into a position to make the next shot as simple as possible. So the left hand side now, 20 yards or so short of that fairway, that green side trap, but I've got a shot now that's going to take me up the throat of the green, so even if that flag was in the back right corner, I've got an easy pitch shot going into the green. Alright, so this was the B shot result. We're in the fairway and we've talked about this on hole 4, trying to lay up to a distance that gives you your preferred shot in. My 2 yardages that I really like are 50 and 100 yards, because growing up there were 2 yardage markers right in front of the bay at my local driving range that I used to practice at. So I got 52 yards there to the flag, a little uphill. So this should be bread and butter for me. Just want to feel the shot out. Just ever so small divot, so I'm feeling confident. And play it into it. But again, that's me accepting the result off the tee, not being too aggressive with my shot into the green, giving myself my preferred distance for my next shot in. Now I've got a really good chance to make a par. At worst, it should be a tap-in bogey, which on this hole probably won't do me any major damage, and if I do make the par, it's going to feel like I'm picking up a shot on the majority of the field. As you can see, we're still about 30 feet away, so realistically it's not a birdie opportunity. My mindset goes now, let's make sure that I've got my distance control correct, get it to the right distance, give myself that easy second putt, make sure I get the par and walk away. First thing I'm going to do though when I walk onto the green is I'm going to repair my pitch mark, make sure that the green is nice and smooth for the next person to play. It only takes 10 seconds, but it makes the putting surface a lot better. Now we're going to mark it. Now clean my golf ball. Now again, go through my routine. So we can see this one is kicking down off this hill here from this back corner. Clearly see it is an uphill putt. I don't actually think that this ball is too far off my line. This viewpoint shows it a little bit more, so I'm going to go just outside that ball. And this is all on the pace. It's a lot slower than I think it is. Okay, so first putt wasn't as good as we really wanted, but we've still got this uphill putt, so it's a big hole that we're going towards. Again, go through the routine. Looking from both sides, check the slopes. It's a big slope kicking down this way. Whatever you think, unless you're absolutely certain, always err a little bit more, because if you err a little bit over and you catch the edge of the hole on the high side, it's still more likely to fall down the hill and gravity's going to pull it into the hole. But if you're going to miss it low side, gravity's pulling it away. So if you're confident, trust the stroke. If you're not too confident in your read, just give yourself that little bit more. But then again, make the positive stroke. Try your best to hold it. Doesn't always work. That's the vagaries of golf. We all make 3 putts at times. And then let's focus now on the B ball. See if I can actually get this one in. Wouldn't be allowed to do this in the course of play, but that one's dirty and this one's still clean, so I'm going to just swap the balls over. And this time I'm coming down the hill, I've got to be a little bit more defensive. The hole is sloping away from me. So, knocking it on in 2 doesn't always guarantee a par. Sometimes the bad tee shot can equate to an easier little putt, and we can make par the funky way by having that layup, but make sure we're laying up to our preferred distances to give us the chance to make the par. Thanks for watching. If you're a new viewer, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and leave some comments on what you'd like to see as we go forward. Also, if there's things that you don't like that you think we need to improve on, let us know, because again, we're still learning how to do this. We'll see you soon.